Good afternoon. Good evening. I don't feel well, so this isn't going to have as much energy as I originally anticipated. I apologize. But my paper, as you know already, is about college retention and completion, and I'm going to tell you all sorts of stuff about what's going to be included. So, the fact is that too many students enter college but don't graduate. So just to see how many of us can relate to it, who knows someone here that started college and wasn't able to complete for one reason or another? Okay. So there's a lot of data on this. The data is collected because any school that is accredited and any school that accepts financial aid is required by law to show this data. So it's pretty easy to figure out how many people are starting and how many people don't finish. So this is a graph that I put because I'm specifically looking at South Jersey, and it's more specifically as a case study looking at Camden County College. So I'm going to just shut up in a second, but I do want to, it's just worth explaining that 150% time means that for these schools, if you're going to a 2-year college, if you're graduating within 3 years. So I'm just let you look at this for a second, because we all know how to read graphs. Okay, and I just want to open it up real quick to the class. Is anything striking about anything that you see on this graph?
Camden County.
The big arrow. The big arrow is certainly striking.
All those numbers are shocking as well.
Yeah.
It makes me, it makes you wonder why do they call it a 2-year college if almost no one is actually graduating within 2 years? And then look, here's my alma mater, because this is obviously for undergraduate programs. Here's my alma mater. Thomas Edison now is an online school, so they don't capture data the same way, because normally people are part-time taking classes that way. Did anybody here go to Camden County College? Okay. So, who am I writing this for? Well, obviously I'm writing it for Dr. Lori Beniti, who we all love and appreciate. But the audience in theory here is employers, because they want to have an educated, well-informed, prepared workforce. University leadership, because they are the ones that set a lot of the policies that have an impact on this, which I'll talk about a little bit later. And community leaders, because people want to have informed, educated, prepared people that live in their communities. So the research question is, what can be done to get more students to graduate from college? And the reason I have the word completion there in parentheses is because in most of the literature, the term that's used for graduating college is completion, and that you're completing college. So the goals of the policy. So as I look at what's both the status quo and what policies work or don't work, there are a few things. So you can read this yourself, but the easiest way to explain it is, from a college perspective, is we want to get you in, we want to get you out, and we want you to get a job. We want you to get you in, we want to get you out, we want you to get a job. So here so there's some alternatives to what the status quo is. So the status quo is literally nothing. If you look across the country, in the state of New Jersey, at county colleges, at Rutgers, and in Camden, there's almost nothing being done to help students that have issues stay. There's no office that you can go to. There's no one that you can talk to. It's not a program. It's not a department. There are fragments of these things in bits and pieces for a student that might have extreme initiative, but a lot of students in these positions we're talking about don't have that initiative, which is why it would led them to be incomplete in the first place. So the first thing that I'm looking at is the school policies themselves. The easiest example is the withdrawal date. For some reason, at Camden County College, their withdrawal date was back in the last week of September. Here at Rutgers, the withdrawal date didn't even occur yet. So two colleges, both in South Jersey, both have an interest in students graduating, have very different withdrawal dates. And I'll look into why that is. The next thing, another policy that's been used is professors, that some schools have done, is professors being mentors for their students. So I'm a professor, and I see that you haven't done well. I see that you're not paying attention in class, that your grades have dropped. I forget this guy's name, but that's a picture of a professor that I found online. Thanks, Barry. Community. So this represents community. So there are things that can be done outside of the college, and independent organizations have an interest in people graduating and act as more of a social service agency and as advisors outside of the college. And lastly, does anybody know where this building is? Dr. Nini, you recognize this?
No.
New York?
Columbia?
Yes, Columbia, yeah. At least that's what it said on Google Images. Okay, so anyway, so there are things that can be done. There are things that they're beyond policies, there are institutions, programs that the college can have. So an example is in Bergen County College for 2 years, they had an office of student retention that was completely devoted on nothing but making sure the students that had issues stayed. Now, in a real cheap and probably incorrect cost-benefit analysis, that office, even if it has 2 staff members and equipment and fringe benefits, costs $100,000. That it may not be worth the college's financial needs to have an office like that. So it's actually so there are grants available in New Jersey for this. Camden County College had a grant last year for $75,000. A lot of that money was used as vouchers or coupons for students that had fees that they needed to pay to help them stay in for students that were leaving because they didn't have complete financial aid, which is one of the reasons. So those are the alternatives. So what am I going to do? So I'm just going to look at the good old academic literature, of course. The Chronicle of Higher Education, which is like the thing to look at when you're looking at what's going on in college and universities. For the assignment that Dr. Meady gave us, which was which is kind of like the cousin of this topic. I know a few articles came from there. And lastly, look for college completion programs. So see what college completion programs exist already and what they do. So my new job is right here, the Graduate Network, which is in Center City, and my job is to bring it over to Camden, which is one of the reasons why I'm looking at this, because it gives me an excuse to do my homework at work. So there are 5 things that they do, and I'm just going to go through this quickly because this is something that I want to look at deeper and see what else is done. So they have so back to college. So they make it easier for the colleges to come to meet you as a student and let you know what they are, so that you have options in what it is that you're doing. They recruit employers to come and talk to the population, adults, young people, about what is it that employers are looking for when they hire, to make sure that you're not wasting your time being a philosophy or art history major. They have partnerships. Oh, I'm sorry. I hope I didn't offend anyone. They have partnerships with colleges, which apparently is not actually Columbia, but they have partnerships with the colleges, invite them to college fairs and things like that. They have community partnerships, so you look at things on a local level. Maybe I as an organization can help you with this, but a lot of other organizations that can help you. So if your big issue is transportation, this group over here can help you with that. If your big issue is childcare, this organization here can help you with that. And I'm always big on looking at the culture of things. It's something I don't think we talk about enough, especially for those of us that lean to the left. I think culture does matter. And I think that if you had a culture of learning, if you had a culture of it being really important to finish college, if you grew up in a community that's like that, it matters. So I love the idea of ambassadors, which is people that complete college, that had issues, and now are returning to a population to help talk to other people, help them get through step by step. So that's what I'm talking about for the whole college retention and completion policy. There we go. Yes. Thank you. Any questions, comments, concerns, issues?
Yeah, Sean. That Rutgers
Sean?
Camden set, is that Rutgers Camden or is that all of us?
That is Rutgers Camden.
Okay.
That's Rutgers Camden, because I was looking at mostly
that's what I figured.
South Jersey, like anything south of like Mercer County. Yes.
Same set of data. Is that full-time students or all students?
I don't remember. I don't remember.
Okay.
But I like the question. I'll clarify that. Thanks.
Now, because if they're part-time students, it may help explain why only 3%
Right.
are counted in with that. Only 3% are graduating in 2 years.
Right, but then you're right. But then that would beg the question: then why does Camden County have way more part-time students than the other county colleges? But that's definitely a great point. Yes.
What are some of the main reasons why people are not able to graduate on time?
Oh, so that's a great question. So it's all sorts of things. I had kids. My financial aid didn't go. My financial aid is not going through. I don't like school. I found a job where I'm able to make more money at the job than to finish college. I moved and didn't go through the process. So it's the issues completely vary. There's no single issue that you can see that is the driving reason why. Even when I asked you guys to raise your hand, when you think about the people that you know that didn't complete college, if you actually were to say out loud why didn't they finish college, I'm sure the answers would be fairly diverse. It's not probably because everybody was having children, although that's certainly a factor.
Yeah, in talking to some folks, and I'm sure you've talked to some of the same folks, you hear a lot of people, especially the ones that are in our area of adults or people returning to college that are taking so many preparatory classes.
Oh yeah.
Just because of the schools not doing their job.
That's a great point.
that's a big reason why they don't make it through college.
So you're bringing that up, and that's like I don't know. I think some people in the room know this, but I was on the school board in Canada for 3 years, and one of the things I used to talk about is how come I go to these graduations, I meet the valedictorian, I'm so proud of them, I love their speeches, I wish them complete success. I follow up with them, I'm friends with them on Facebook, I follow up with them 6 months, a year from now, they're in college, and they're taking remedial classes. How can you be number one in the Camden Public School but take remedial classes in college? One of the factors and one of the things that drives people not want to necessarily go to college is they take that placement test. Oh my goodness, I did bad on all 3 categories, reading, math, and writing. I had to take 3 remedial non-credit classes. So that's 9 classes that I had to take over the course of 3 semesters. I'm not getting any credit for that I still have to pay for and do well in. And it makes people, in a simple way to say it is, it makes people feel stupid. And especially if you're an older person, you don't want to sit in a class with a bunch of 18 and 19-year-olds. It makes people feel uncomfortable. One of the things that Graduate Philadelphia does, I didn't put it in here, is that you can take a crash course on these things before you take the placement test. So you're in an academic setting, you're refreshing on your math, reading, and writing in order to do it, which is really important. That's an important point. Thank you so much. Yes, thank you.